everybody. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, I am Tired Mama. I am doing weight loss videos. I include some recipes. Yesterday's video was a recipe for cabbage packs. I've done workout videos, like the workouts that I do. As of right now, in the last 30 days, I've lost 34 pounds. So something I'm doing is right, and I'm not going to stop. Note two things. Number one, I am not like Amberlynn. And number two, I'm not like Foodie Booty. Okay? They are actually inspirations to me to do everything they don't do. Okay? But I have some thoughts on them. And I do want to say Charlie Gold is a huge inspiration for me. And I got the idea for this video watching her live stream this weekend. So, today we're going to talk about a very serious topic. And I'm going to go through this kind of fast because I have to go pick up my daughter. And there are some topics that I don't think should be talked around or given a lot of detail about around impressionable kids. My daughter's 13. She turns 14 into this week. And I don't want to influence her to be looking for these things in people yet. She's not old enough to really understand that. But I have some very unique experiences with bipolar disorder and compulsive lying. Not for me personally, but my mom suffers from bipolar with schizophrenic tendencies. Now, I was with her through the entire process of from the day she started acting weird. She acted off my entire life, but when things really went downhill with her psych break, all the way up until a true diagnosis, which for her took 3 years. And I want to talk about my experience versus what we're seeing out of Amberlynn. Realize that I am not, disclaimer, I am not a psychologist, I am not a therapist, I am not a counselor. I'm just someone who has been through this with a loved one, and I think I have a little bit of a different viewpoint than maybe what some of the other haters or reactionists have. Okay, I spent today watching binging on Charlie Gold's videos, and she just did the one where she was reacting to Amberlynn, reacting to herself lying. Okay, and it brought up some interesting points that I really want to talk about. I think that a lot of times we don't always understand bipolar disorder 100%, but I hope that once I go through all this, you'll understand that I think this is why Amberlynn does most of what she does. In reality, don't get me wrong, she has other issues, but a lot of the things that we see can come back to the bipolar disorder. So I wanted to start talking about the diagnosis process. I did not pull this out of my butt. This is information from the Diagnostic and Statistical Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. This is the book, and this is what they use, the process of diagnosing everything with a mental disorder. Okay? With mental health, it all comes from this book. It's updated every single year. I do actually have a copy of this book, and I will explain that literally when you go through this with a family member and you're involved with every step of the process, I swear those first couple of years I could have told you what every psych med was for. You know, we went through a lot of medication trials with her, and so a lot of that stuff, I get it, like I understand it. But I also understand it because I was told at one point that they thought bipolar to be genetic. I know that there are varying thoughts on that, but with that potential there, I spent many years, I took many college classes trying to deeply understand bipolar so that I could witness or see the signs in myself before I ever got to the point my mom got to. So let's begin. So the process of bipolar diagnosing, okay, or diagnostics. Let me explain real quick. I had a couple of messages. Why are you scratching your head? Do you have bugs? No. A few nights ago, I was working the concession stand with the high school football team, or the high school football game for the band, and the end of the concession stand has a roll-up door, and I rolled it up, and it came down and cracked me right on the back of the head. Where it's healing, it itches really, really bad. Okay? No, I don't have bugs. I have a very clean home. Thank you for your concern. Now, boom, 3 steps. There are 3 steps to diagnosing bipolar disorder. If you see me looking down, I'm just looking at the notes that I made off the journals and the research that I did. Number 1, a physical exam. I haven't seen Amberlynn get a physical exam. And it slightly concerns me. Oh, I'll get to that in a second. Number 2, a psychiatric assessment. And number 3, something called mood charting. Mood charting is very important when it comes to bipolar disorder because they have to determine what level bipolar disorder you have. There's bipolar 1, bipolar 2, and the third one is psychothymic disorder. I'll put all of this information below you. Maybe you can say it better than I can. But it's not always done by the patient who's being diagnosed with bipolar. In this situation, like with my mom, I did the charting, and my sister did charting, and my grandmother did charting. And this was to give the doctor a viewpoint over, several days, several weeks of what her moods truly did, how quickly they went up and down. That's an important part of bipolar processing. So let's talk about the 3 types of bipolar. There's manic depressive episodes, followed by hypo or manic, bipolar 1, manic episodes, followed by hypo or depressive episodes. So this is the super, super happy, super, super sad, but bipolar 1 includes breaks from reality. That's an important thing here, and I don't think that we've ever seen that out of Amberlynn. I don't think that we've ever witnessed her have a reality break. Now, that doesn't mean it hasn't happened, it just means we haven't seen it. Bipolar 2, this is major depressive episodes and hypomanic manic episodes. This is a constant up and down. Okay, this is what my mom has. Alright, and number 3 means that you've had it for 2 years, and this is CYCLOTHYMIC disorder. And this means that you've had these mood swings for 2+ years. This is important because it can change your treatment. Okay? It also is, it almost becomes stable after a while, and you can see cycles. We can see that with Amberlynn. Many, many people have made diagraphs of Amberlynn's behavior and said this is just her cycle. And that's true. Okay, so in order to be a manic or hypomanic episode, you have to have 3 symptoms. There are 7 listed here. Abnormal, upbeat, or jumpy, wired physically. If you're not normally an upbeat person, not normally very jumpy, and suddenly you are, that can be a symptom. Increased activity. People in a manic episode are often very, very unable to sit and relax. Exaggerated sense of well-being and confidence. I can see that out of her. A decreased need for sleep. Unusually talkative. Distractibility. And poor decision making. Now, these things right here are very important too, because understand that just because these things are showing, that doesn't mean that you have bipolar. If these things are part of your everyday mental psyche, okay? I'm a talkative person. Just because I'm talkative doesn't mean that I have bipolar. But if my usually non-talkative child is all of a sudden acting like she's on crack and talking 500 miles a minute, that's interesting. Some people are just bad decision makers too. You can't base it just on that. Okay, for a depressive episode, the symptoms of that are depressed mood, we've seen that, loss of interest. Now this is very interesting to me. Anyway, loss of interest, and it's typically in things that you love. I myself am addicted to my phone, and I know that. I am addicted to technology. I carry a phone, a tablet with me almost all the time. So if all of a sudden I stopped doing those things, that would be a loss of interest in something that I loved. Weight loss. When my mom went through this, she went from 290 pounds to 116 pounds in 6 months. Sleep issues. Well, in my mom's case, She actually slept almost around the clock for months. Restless or slow behavior, extreme fatigue, a feeling of worthlessness, decreased ability to make decisions, and suicidal thoughts. These are things, again, that if they're not part of your nature, that's when it's a red flag. Such as, I have a daughter who cannot make a decision to save her life. She's just an indecisive person. That's normal for her. If all of a sudden she started having the ability to make split-second decisions, I would be concerned. Okay, so there are some articles linked below that I really hope that you check out. One is written by Madeline Heslett. She is bipolar, and she writes articles on various vlogs about dealing with bipolar disorder. One specifically where she connects bipolar disorder and compulsive lying. And I found this one probably the most interesting. She says that in manic episodes, oftentimes this inflated ego leads to illusions or delusions of grandeur. Haven't we seen Amberlynn refer to herself as, oh, I'm like Shane Dawson. Oh, I'm like this person. These huge YouTube stars. I really think that she struggles with that. I think that part of the ego that she has, like with her highly requested stuff, is that she thinks that she's bigger than she is, as far as her YouTube audience. These delusions of grandeur, it leads people into making bad decisions. We know this. Okay. They also come with this sense of self-preservation. And she says, and this is a paraphrase, self-preservation combined with a desire for excitement and the belief that one is impenetrable to harm. That's not good, right? And I think this leads more to the bad decisions. I think this is why she says some of the things that she says too, and I'll get to more of that in a moment. The bipolar and the compulsive lying together lead to lying to fit in. Because expressing how they really feel makes them feel like they're strange. Okay? I think she does this when she hears reaction videos. I think that she lies to cover things up because she feels like if she tells the truth, it'll make her feel weird. When a person, listen, this is so important. When a person with bipolar disorder regularly exaggerates their story, it oftentimes becomes real to them. Such as in this lying video that Charlie did. I think that Amber truly feels that her lies are the truth. And that's a struggle for her. Even watching herself lie, she couldn't tell the truth. There's another bipolar blogger, and again, this is all in the articles down below. And she writes for the International Bipolar Foundation. And she says that there's an excitement when you're bipolar and a compulsive liar. And this excitement has endorphins that get your brain going. And it's that the lie is believed. If they think someone is believing their lie, even one person, it's excitement for them. She did a great article. This goes back to Heslett. And it says the 10 lies that my mania tells me. And I've only picked out a few here that I feel like apply to Amberlynn. Number 3 was, your doctor doesn't know what they're doing. How many times have we heard this out of her? Okay, there was the weight loss doctor. There was the doctor who she said that, perfect example. Her doctor supposedly said that she was healthy, she was just big. Well, if she's told this so many times, then she honestly believes that to be true. Okay? And then you can't get hurt. You can't go wrong. I think that she feels like she's never going to get in trouble for anything she does on YouTube. She hasn't yet, but I do feel like that she feels like she's never going to get in trouble for anything. What you feel is real. Being bipolar and a compulsive liar, you tell yourself that what you feel is real. Well, I feel like I should make more money, so in reality I should, even though I'm putting out content that no one wants to watch, and they're only watching because I'm eating myself to death. Right? Alright, here's another interesting thing to think about. And again, all the articles are down below. And this one links bipolar and binge eating. 17%. Keep that in mind. Women who are bipolar are 17% more likely to be binge eaters. There's some research being done by this, I think it's Dr. Plock, and it's basically saying that it has to do with impulse control, that you lose your impulse control to do the right thing, and so you binge off of that. It's also associated with mood stability, because binge eaters use food as a way of self-soothing. Well, we know that's true because a lot of us, and I'm a binge eater, a lot of us are emotional eaters. So that's a very true statement. The 4 things that they say the people who are bipolar and binge eaters normally deal with: mood instability, severe anxiety, obesity, and cardiovascular disease. And this came from the Journal of Affective Disorders. And that binge eaters soothe themselves with food when they're uncomfortable or unhappy. I know that a lot of this is true. I remember my mom, when she was going through this, would binge eat. Now, she did lose a lot of weight, don't get me wrong, but as she was coming out of it, she gained all of her weight back plus some, because she would start to binge eat. And this is, let me explain. So during her process, she was also dealing with epilepsy. And so they had put her on medication that took, I mean, literally she slept 18, 20 hours a day. And that was because they couldn't get her seizures under control. And when they did, then they couldn't get her bipolar under control. So they turned around, and after they finally got a combinations of medications that worked for her, she started being awake more, and she started binging. And she binged hard. I can remember her eating, I mean, sugar was her thing. She would make a brownie mix and just sit there and eat the whole thing in 2 or 3 minutes. Not cooked, just the dough. That was, I mean, she would do that every day. And I guess to a point, I was an enabler in that, but I was just happy my mom was awake. I think that Amber's situation is so much more different because she has 3 people there that depend on her, and they're not going to want to make her mad. Well, the truth is, it really probably has to do more with her soothing because she's not happy. I've been in kind of a similar mental state before, where I would eat all the time just because I was so unhappy with who I was. And a lot of that had to do with my worth. I confused my weight with my worth. For a long time, I thought that what I weighed equaled that I was less worthy of society. I don't feel that way anymore. But I can understand her mindset on that. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you stuck around this long, make sure you leave me a comment, like on the video, and let's talk in the comments. Reach out to me on social media, and there will be another video tomorrow, because I am doing a video every day. Apparently I'm a dingbat and promise to do so. Until next time, guys. Bye.